Designed as main speakers for more compact living spaces like a home office, the Klipsch R-41m reference speaker system is the ideal choice for most desktop setups. Now, there is a reason these budget bookshelf speakers are one of the best-selling models on the market. Now, today I'll be looking at and reviewing the R-41m reference speakers by Klipsch and telling you why you should actually consider adding this to your desk setups. Hey, what's going on guys, Jerry here and welcome back to the channel. So for this review of the Klipsch R-41m speakers, I will be going over what actually comes in the box, its design and appearance, specs and features of the R-41m, the setup process, sound quality, its price, and last but definitely not least, my final thoughts. Now, please feel free to use the timestamps in the video to go to the part that might be of more interest to you. Now, we're going to start this review by going straight into the unboxing experience. Now, when it comes on to unboxing these speakers, there isn't much to speak on as it's as simple as any unboxing can possibly get. As you open the box, you're greeted with the instruction manual at the top that is also paired with the 3M adhesive rubber feet that you would place on the bottom of the speakers. As you remove the protective styrofoam foam at the top, you're now immediately greeted with the pair of R-41m speakers. The rest of the unboxing pretty much involves removing the pair of R-41ms from the box, and then that's it. Nothing else left in the box. Now, time to remove the plastic covering from the speakers so we can have a look, and all I can say is wow. These speakers really looks stunning, and they definitely carry that minimalistic feel and vibe, especially with that grill on, but you can definitely take them off if that's your vibe. Now, let's look at the design of these bookshelf speakers. Now, see, one of my favorite things about Klipsch speakers by far would have to be their appearance. I feel as though they have some of the most attractive looking speakers in the industry. The R-41m is certainly no different. First thing you will immediately notice is that the speakers look pretty discreet with detachable magnetic grille on. There's a small metallic logo toward the bottom, but other than that, that's really it. However, as soon as you take the grille off, you're immediately greeted by a downright beautiful copper driver surrounded by 6 smaller visible fasteners dotted around the perimeter. It's hard to describe with words how good it looks, but if you've never seen one of them in person, then you're definitely missing out. It looks great with the grille on too, of course, but I much do rather the look of it off. Above that, you'll notice a large square with another logo on the bottom and the tweeter in the center. Over on the back, there is a bass reflex rear firing port that helps to minimize distortion and a keyhole so that they can be wall mounted if you prefer. All in all, they are pretty small bookshelf speakers, but guess what? This absolutely works in my favor as they are just the perfect size in my opinion. It just fits perfectly into my desk setup. The stylish aesthetic, which consists of the clean finish of the black wood vinyl, is actually scratch resistant, and the beautiful copper woofer makes these speakers look extremely high class on my desk. As you've seen already, there are 8 silicone pads included to be placed on the bottom corners of the speakers, which I recommend placing on before you put your speakers in place, as this actually helps to stabilize the speakers on whatever surface the speakers are on, and also helps to reduce the bass vibrations. So with that said, if you weren't able to tell by now, I absolutely love the design of these R-41m speakers, and I think you will too. Now let's move on to the specs. Now I'm gonna go ahead and list all the specifications and features of the R-41m so you can take a look, as I will cover some of the more important ones. Now, in terms of the specs of the Klipsch R-41m speakers, they come in at a size of about 11.3 inches tall, 5.75 inches wide and 7.9 inches deep. They are very manageable size, making them perfectly suitable to be integrated in most desk setups, whether directly on your desk or on a stand like how I have them. Now, looking at the beautiful copper drivers, these are actually 4-inch drivers, which Klipsch calls its injection molded graphite copper spun woofers that have the dual advantage of being both extremely light and incredibly rigid, allowing them to remain clear in sound even at the highest volume. It also allows them to reach lower, providing you with a better bass response. In this case, it actually allows it to go down to about 68 Hz and into the upper ranges of about 21 kHz. As I said before, these are 4-inch drivers, which is for sure on the smaller side, but don't let that fool you. If there's one thing Klipsch speakers are known for besides their looks, it's their incredibly sensitivity. Now, sensitivity, for those who are unaware, is basically how easy it is for a speaker to get to a specific volume when provided with a specific amount of power. The higher this number, the better. These have a sensitivity of about 90, which means you won't need a crazy amount of power to fully utilize them, and also means they'll be able to go louder easier. The tweeter is also a special draw on this speaker. It has what is known as a linear travel suspension aluminum tweeter made of a material called Campton. Now, that allows it to provide an exceptional amount of detail. Now, to further improve performance, it also comes with a 90x90 track checks horn technology that aims the sound at the listener. The idea is that by doing this, artificial factors such as reflected sound or reverberation is nullified, thereby giving you the most accurate audio. The R-41m also has some impressive power behind it, with a peak wattage of 200, so absolutely no worries about hearing things. Now, let's take a quick look at the setup process. Now, the R-41ms are quick and easy to set up straight out of the box and will take you pretty much less than 50 minutes to have them up and running. Trust me, it's really pretty standard and is done the same way you would any other traditional bookshelf speakers. Because these are passive speakers, you are going to need a preamplifier to power them. Now, there are a ton of cheap preamps that you can actually find on the market. The preamp that I'm using to power the R-41m is the Klipsch A30, which is more than enough to drive these speakers. If you prefer, there is actually a model of these speakers called the R-41PM, which are powered and thus would not require for you to purchase a preamplifier separately, but those are actually more on the pricier side. Now, just a quick tip: when wiring the R-41ms, I actually recommend getting a higher quality cables with heavy gauge like 12 AWG or a 14 AWG, and actually investing in some banana plugs, as this will get you the best sound possible. You can thank me later. Now, before we go further into the review, if you happen to be finding value so far in this video, then a huge like on this video will be a massive help in getting this video suggested more. Now, let's move on quickly, and we're going to be talking about the sound. So with all that you've heard so far, how do these speakers actually sound in the real world? Well, when it comes on to the sound, it's actually very surprising how good these speakers sound, considering they've only got 4-inch drivers. But if I was to use one word to describe the sound, then it would definitely be bright. What do I mean by that? Well, you know how certain speakers tend to sometimes favor treble, or sometimes they're on the warmer side? No, I would definitely say that these favor treble. That being said, make no mistakes about it. The sound is incredible. Now, if you're looking for a speaker that can reproduce detail in your content, then this is the one to get. This has to be one of the clearest sounding speakers I've personally heard to date. It's that level of clarity that'll have you fully immersed in whatever it is you're watching. Now bear in mind, of course, these are more suitable for smaller rooms like a home office, again as an example. Now the speakers produces good mid bass as well, but nothing lower than that, as the frequency range is only around 68 Hz to around 21 kHz with a plus or minus 3 dB. However, if you're seeking something super deep, then I suggest you might need to connect a subwoofer if you wish. Actually, adding a subwoofer will definitely help these speakers in the bass department if you're one that loves and prefer that extra thump. But regardless of that, the single 4-inch spun copper woofer still offers really impressive output despite not being able to reach that deep lows of an additional sub. As I said, I mainly use mine connected to my desktop when working, and they handle my genre of music without having to adjust them continuously. Everything just sounds crisp with certain content, almost having a sparkle with the way it's presented. Now, this could be a good or bad depending on what type of music you listen to and depending on the individual, of course. For me personally, I don't mind this, even though I do plan on adding a subwoofer in the future. But for those that plan on using these in stereo, it's just really something to keep in mind. These certainly are speakers that favor the high end, but if you use them with a subwoofer, you're golden, trust me. In summary though, in terms of the sound, the R-41m quite simply is just incredible. Now let's talk quickly about the price of the R-41ms. Now, with regards to the price for these speakers, you can actually pick one up for around $120, which I think is a killer price, to be honest. From time to time, you can definitely find them on sale on Amazon especially. I did actually pick up my set for just under $100, which I think was just crazy. Now, given the fact that you will need to get a preamp to power these speakers, we definitely have to factor a price of one of those preamps in the cost. Now, you can definitely pick one up for anywhere between $50 upwards, depending on what you're looking for. Now, the combo of the R-41m with this Lox GA30 preamp, which I highly recommend by the way, will cost just under $300. Now, if you should compare that with the powered R-41m, you are looking at a cost well over $300. So you will get some savings definitely, plus the ability to be a bit more flexible if you're especially starting out with the whole audiophile game. For me, this was a no-brainer, but what are my final thoughts on the Klipsch R-41ms? Now, in short, this is a speaker that when paired with a subwoofer is pretty hard not to like. Honestly, it's articulate, detailed, and not to mention absolutely beautiful. For the price of under $200, depending on which retailer you buy it from, of course, is just something I can't complain about. They are definitely up there with some of the best budget bookshelf speakers on the market and should be a contender on everyone's list of speakers to buy for their desk setups. Well, I really do hope you enjoyed this Klipsch R-41m reference bookshelf speaker review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it to the end and you found this video helpful, then please go ahead and hit that like button and share the video with anyone you think will find it beneficial. Also, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't as yet. That will be a massive help in growing this YouTube channel. Thank you all again for your wonderful support as usual, and I will definitely see you guys again in my next video. Peace.